Welcome to the Nickel City Line. Today we are going to talk about the history of the NCL, take a tour of the layout, and then follow one of the main line locals as it does its daily work. The Nickel City Line, or NCL, is a freelance model railroad situated in the Allegheny Mountains of Pennsylvania. In 1840, Sebastian E. Nickel purchased several large tracts of land in the Allegheny Mountains and began mining the region for coal. Nickel established a town in the area known as Nickel Township. In 1851, Nickel was granted a charter by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania to build a railroad to serve his mining interests. As his mining interests grew, so did his town. In 1854, Nickel Township was renamed Nickel City. And so the railroad is named today, where it remains a vibrant and integral part of the modern rail transportation network. Let's take a quick look at the area served by the NCL. Starting in the east, the NCL has two small yards in Pennsylvania, located at Harrisburg, and another yard located in the southeast at Sheppardsfield. Both lines converge at Waterloo Junction. From there, the line travels west to the outskirts of Carthus. At this junction, the rail line heads north through Carthus to Keating, where an interchange track exchanges cars between the NCL and several other railroads. If you head west prior to Carthus, that will take you on the line into Nickel City. This is where the main yard and maintenance facilities are located for the railroad. At Nickel City, there are a number of small industries served by rail. These industries are located in Nickel City East, as named by the railroad, even though they reside in Nickel City proper. From Nickel City, we continue west through the towns of Sheppardsfield and Mills River and arrive at the town of Underwood. At Underwood, the line heads north to Emporium or continues west to Ridgeway. Heading north to Emporium, the line continues to Rochester, New York. However, this line is served by the Chessie System Railroad. Heading west from Underwood, the rail line serves the towns of Canova, Bristow, Monserrat, and Du Bois. Arriving in Ridgeway, the line continues southwest to Pittsburgh. It also branches off to the north to Erie. However, that route is only served by the Pennsylvania Railroad. The area modeled on the layout runs from Waterloo Junction in the east to Emporium in the north and Ridgeway in the west. Now let's take a look at the NCL layout. The NCL is a triple-deck layout. We begin on the lower level, which houses two staging yards for the railroad. The east staging yard, known as Waterloo Junction, serves trains heading to and departing from Baltimore, Enola, Harrisburg, and Shippensburg. There are 8 staging tracks in Waterloo Junction. Each track is controlled by a dwarf signal, which notifies the train crew when they are cleared to depart. The north staging yard, known as Emporium, serves trains arriving or departing from Emporium and Port Allegheny. Like Waterloo Junction, the 6 staging tracks in Emporium are controlled by dwarf signals, which notify the train crew when it is clear to depart. Continuing south from Emporium and around the lower level, we pass Driftwood. Driftwood is a single staging track, which will be used in the near future to represent a coal mine in the town of Driftwood. South of Driftwood, we arrive at the town of Underwood. Here, the single track separates into 2 main lines. This is the convergence point where the upper deck, main level, and lower level meet. Continuing east from Underwood, we head up to the main level and the town of Mills River. In Underwood, if we were to head west, we would ascend the Canova grade to the upper deck of the layout, but we will revisit that route later. The town of Mills River has a small grain and feed business as well as a passenger shelter. Continuing past Mills River, we cross a double-track bridge and through a defect detector before entering Tunnel 17, where the line loops around and exits back out, headed towards Laurel Valley. Laurel Valley contains a large coal mine and passenger shelter. Many coal trains visit this location throughout the day. From Laurel Valley, we continue east to the town of Sheppardsfield. In Sheppardsfield, the line separates into two mainline tracks and a siding. A shipping and transfer business, metal fabricator, and team track are served by rail. A large passenger station is also located here. At the east end of the town, a spur heads off the main to another coal mine known as Mine Number 6. From Sheppardsfield, we head east to Nickel City. Just prior to Nickel City, a spur branches off the main and leads into Nickel City East. Here, a number of businesses are served by rail. The in-street trackage limits the time and duration of rail operations in downtown. Industries served in this area include an oil distributor, lumber yard, brewery, cold storage warehouse, shipping and transfer company, tire manufacturer, and a power plant. The Nickel City Yard contains 3 arrival and departure tracks, as well as a runaround. There are also 16 classification tracks. A locomotive yard also occupies the area, which includes storage tracks for motive power, maintenance and fueling facilities, a turntable, and transfer table. Departing Nickel City headed east, we pass through the East Interlock. With track authority from the dispatcher, we can proceed to Carthus. Carthus is still under development. However, Carthus currently has a small coal mine, intermodal yard, and interchange track. Plans include an environmental waste recycler, a team track, and a few more industries yet to be determined. If we were to continue on the main line out of Nickel City, we would descend down to the east staging yard known as Waterloo Junction. Let's return to Underwood. Heading west out of Underwood, we begin to ascend the Canova grade, a 5% grade leading up to the upper deck. The grade levels off midway before returning to the ruling grade of 5%. I took the inspiration for the Canova grade from the Saluda grade in North Carolina, which is the steepest railroad grade in the United States. At 5%, the Saluda grade, in its day, offered many challenges for the prototype railroad, some of which I wanted to replicate here. At the top of the grade, we arrive at the town of Canova. There is a freight house and a passenger station served by this town. Continuing west, we arrive in Bristow. Bristow has several businesses served by rail. These include a quarry, customs house, and scrapyard. From Bristow, we head to the town of Monserrat. There is an interchange yard for cars bound for Chicago. There is also a small yard, freight house, granary, and a passenger station served by the railroad. Leaving Monserrat, we continue west to Du Bois. In Du Bois, we have the main coal processing plant. Mine coal arrives here, where it is sifted, crushed, cleaned, and reloaded as clean coal for power plants and steel mills. All of the coal operations on the NCL run through Du Bois. Further west, the town of Du Bois has a passenger station which serves Amtrak and local commuter trains. After leaving Du Bois, we arrive in Ridgeway, the western terminus of the layout. Ridgeway, which is the west staging yard, has basic scenery since it is not hidden. I wanted to give Ridgeway a sense of being somewhere while not spending too much time on scenery in a staging yard. The railroad is controlled by a dispatcher using CATS, Computer Assisted Traffic System, which is an add-on to JMRI, the software used to run the railroad. The dispatcher's office also contains a TrainStat screen, which is an add-on to the CATS software. TrainStat tracks each train's progress in real time, reporting train locations and time of arrival. The dispatcher also monitors several other railroad frequencies and the status of the JMRI software operating during each ops session. The yard crew also uses a computer equipped with JMRI software. The panel controls arrival and departure turnouts in the yard, as well as the entrance signals on each end of the yard. Working the Nickel City Yard is a two-person job. Now that you've had a tour of the layout, let's do a little train watching and follow the morning mainline local, train 502T, as it does its daily run. It's 7:30 in the morning, and the crew for 502T have reported for duty at the Yardmaster's office. They pick up and review their paperwork. Today they have deliveries in Sheppardsfield, Laurel Valley, Canova, Bristow, and Monserrat. While they go over their paperwork one last time and fill their thermoses with hot coffee, the hostler assembles their locomotive consist. Once the locomotives have been MU'd together, the hostler delivers the units to the yard office, where they are turned over to the crew. Taking over from the hostler, the crew for train 502T perform a complete check of the locomotives. This includes checking the fuel level, batteries, water supply, sand, braking systems, cooling fans, brake rigging and pins, footboards, doors, grab irons, and safety devices, just to name a few things. With permission from the yardmaster, the crew runs the locomotives down the runaround track and onto the appropriate departure track, where their train is waiting. After inspecting the train and pumping up the airlines, the train crew notifies the yardmaster that they're ready to depart.
Train 502 Tango to Nickerson Yard. Go ahead, train 502D. Over. We have finished our work and are ready to depart west. Over. Copy, train 502D. You are clear to depart on track 4. Follow the signal indication within the off limits. Switch over to low channel. indication. Switching over to the road channel, 502 Tango out.
Once in Sheppardsfield, train 502T detaches the first 5 cars to be delivered in Sheppardsfield. The locomotive switches the 5 cars onto Main 1, where it backs down the main to the east end of Sheppardsfield, where it delivers the first 2 cars to line number 6. With 2 cars delivered, train 502T returns heading west on Main 1. At the west end of Sheppardsfield, the train will switch over to track 3 and drop the 3 cars there. Then the locomotives will return to Main 1, where they will head east to the east end of Sheppardsfield. At that point, they will return back to track 3 and reconnect with the 3 cars they previously dropped. Reconnected to the 3 cars on track 3, the locomotives then proceed to make their deliveries to Sheppardsfield Shipping and Transfer and the team track. Once the deliveries are complete, the locomotives need to make another move down on Main 1 and reattach to their train on Main number 2. Once reconnected, the train crew has been informed they have to wait. Train 202 is headed eastbound for Nickel City Yard and has priority over Train 502T. Before proceeding out of Sheppardsfield, the train crew must get track authority from the dispatcher to work the Laurel Valley coal mine along the single-track main line. Let's listen in and hear them get the track authority from the dispatcher.
Train 502 Tango, the Nickel City Dispatch. I've completed my work in Sheppardsfield and are ready to head out to Laurel Valley. Over.
Train 502T, ready to copy. Over.
Train 502 Tango is ready to copy. Over.
This is order number 89 to train 502T, SB track 2. Check box 2. Proceed from CP24 TWO FOUR to CP25 TWO FIVE. Check box 3. Work between CP24 TWO FOUR to CP25 TWO FIVE on main 1. Check box 6. Do not foul limits ahead of CP24 TWO FOUR and CP25 TWO FIVE. Check box 10. Check box 12. This authority expires at 9:12 a.m. 5 boxes checked, 2, 3, 6, 10, and 12. Ready for readback. Over.
Train 502 Tango, the Nickel City Dispatch. Copy order number 89 to Train 502 Tango on SP Track 2. Checkbox 2. Proceed to CP24 TWO FOUR to CP25 TWO FIVE. Checkbox 3. Work between CP24 TWO FOUR and CP25 TWO FIVE on main 1. Checkbox 6. Do not foul limits ahead of CP24 TWO FOUR and CP25 TWO FIVE. Checkbox 10. Checkbox 12. This authority expires at 9:12 a.m. 5 boxes checked. 2, 3, 6, 10, and 12. 9:11 a.m. EL. Over.
Feedback correct. Order complete at 8:33 a.m. CDK out.
Tango, the Nickel City Dispatch, departing Sheppardsfield on main 2. Out.
With train authority in hand, the train crew moves towards Laurel Valley. At Laurel Valley, the crew delivers 2 carloads of mine baffles and limestone. They also pick up a carload of anthracite. With work complete in Laurel Valley, the crew notifies the dispatcher they are ready to proceed to Canova. Canova grade is no easy feat. The train labors long and hard to crest that 5% grade and arrive in Canova. Once in Canova, the train will work the freight house, where they pick up an empty boxcar. Heading west, the train arrives at Bristow. The crew requests permission to occupy one of the mains. Leaving the train consist on Main 1, the locomotives switch over to the Bristow spur to retrieve two hoppers at the quarry. Attaching the hoppers to the boxcar retrieved from Canova earlier, the crew pulls the 3 cars off Main 1 for a runaround on Main 2.
Hey, do you know, is that east switching cart? Well, you probably don't know. I'm showing the east switching cart lined for the siding on. The one you're leaving out of is west switch, but the east switch, I guess that train coming in there looks like maybe they left the switch open. Do y'all think you might be able to grab that for me, Alan? Appreciate you there. Next train down is the E train. They frown on switches being open on him. But anyway, yeah, let's copy the warrant when you're ready. Okay?
Milepost 253.1. Track 1. No defects. Milepost 25. Track 1. No defects.
At Canova, the crew returns back onto Main 1, where they reattach to the train consist and push it towards Monserrat.
That's Pittsburgh East there. Yeah, 62B, Pittsburgh East there. The train ahead, I was just wondering if he had the railroad demo or if I should lay back off the crossing here. Okay, we'll keep going up in a second.
At Bristow, the hoppers and boxcar are left on Main 1, while train 502T pushes the remainder of the consist west to Monserrat.
No defect. Total axle 158. Spring speed 50. MTH temperature 63 degrees. Detector out.
Arriving in Montserrat, the crew must pull a boxcar from the freight house and set it on the yard track before they can make other deliveries.
your TOSD 6. Canada Airborne Special TV 25-0. Okay, look at the tow strength is the way I can get you a signal there. Pull north there, our restricted speed are 35.5 at 3rd Street there.
With the boxcar relocated to the yard, Train 502T makes a delivery to the freight house, and then a cut of 5 cars to the interchange track where they are destined for Chicago.
Westbound, coming by 198, 40 him by. He's about 50 hours.
Mike, go around channel 2 for a minute, Mike, and I'll get some car numbers off of you, and I'll get you 1580 sent in. Over. Roger.
Heading back to Bristow, the crew picks up 2 gondolas from the Bristow scrapyard.
Milepost 253.1. Track 3, no defects. Alright, not working. Quit en route. Alright, get that mail pull around you there at IU, and then you got permission, Shelbyville Secondary, new line to build in the hall barn, AB40, over. That's Roger. Dispatcher, INEL. Yes, sir, indicates that I'm ready for you at the post. And then sign out.
Before reconnecting with the rest of their train, Train 502T must wait for an eastbound Amtrak to pass through Bristow. With Main 2 now clear, the train crew heads back to Canova to do a switchback onto Main 1, where they will reassemble the train. With all work complete, the crew is ready to head back to Nickel City. With work complete in Monserrat and Bristow, Train 502T heads back down the Canova grade towards Sheppardsfield. On the descent, the train engages the dynamic brake, and you can hear the whine echo through the mountains as they move downward towards the town of Underwood. The train crew has to keep a good eye on their speed as they descend the grade. It is slow going but necessary in order to prevent any runaways. Once at the bottom of the grade, the train can pick up speed as it heads towards Sheppardsfield. As they enter Laurel Valley, they reduce to restricted speed as they prepare to enter Sheppardsfield. Upon entering Sheppardsfield, train 502T takes track 3 in order to work one more industry in town. The locomotives detach and head over to Allied Metal Fabricators to pick up 2 gondola cars. With the final 2 cars added to the train, train 502T heads back to Nickel City.
Train 502 Tango, the Nickel City Dispatch, departing Sheppardsfield on Main 2, out.
As the train approaches NC Yard, you can hear the train crew request permission from the yardmaster.
Train 502 Tangle to Nickel City Yard. I'm within your yard limits. Over. Nickel City Yard to train 502D. You are cleared into track 4. Take it all the way into the 12th signal and die down there. Nickel City Yard out.
Once the train arrives on the arrival track, the hostler takes over the locomotives and the crew marks off duty for the day. Thank you for watching and spending some time on the Nickel City Line Railroad.